Hey guys, welcome back to Non-Central. Today we're going to be testing out whether or not you can actually make a frozen steak just by cooking it while it's still frozen, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Okay, so today we have a pretty thick cut ribeye. Got the whole thing all together and just had them cut into like thick steaks, and then I vacuum sealed each one individually. But it's a little bit of a pain to like sometimes just let it thaw out fully before you cook it, so I'm going to be testing out if this is actually a better way to cook steak. And what we're going to do is just sear it off in like a hot stainless steel pan and then finish it off in a 400-degree oven. Okay, so right now we got the oven preheating to 400, and what we're going to do is heat up this stainless steel skillet. I'm put this on like a medium high, which is like a 6 on my stove. And then once it gets hot enough where the water starts like dancing around the pan, it doesn't evaporate instantly, then we're gonna go in and sear off the steak. Okay, so while we're waiting for the pan to preheat, I'm just gonna release this steak from its little plastic prison over here. My first time using scissors, actually. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good enough, honestly. So, I mean, obviously, it's an electric stove. The center of the pan is going to be a little bit hotter than the rest of it, so I'm just going to focus on this area mainly over here. I'll let it heat up a little bit more while I yap. And we're going to be using a neutral oil. I'm using peanut oil today. And so we're just going to, don't want to put like too much because obviously the steak is frozen and it is literally going to cause a fire in here if I put too much oil. So just going to go in with about that much. Thin coating on the bottom. My moment of truth. A bit unwieldy, unfortunately. I'm going to try to season this as best as I can while it's frozen, but obviously seasoning is not going to stick too well. Well, something this thick, definitely going to absorb a lot of salt, so I'm going to go pretty heavy on this guy. And this is probably optional, but I'm worried about it making good surface contact, so I'm going to weigh it down with some little saucepans that I have. Okay, so now it's been 3-4 minutes. I'm going to take a look at how the crust is looking right now. As you can see, it's a pretty nice deep brown color. Obviously still a little bit uneven because obviously the steak was frozen. So, just going to leave this here. Okay, it's been another like 2 minutes. Checking again now. So honestly, that's probably about as good of a sear as we're gonna get. I don't want it to get too dark over here. It's starting to caramelize a lot. So I'm gonna try to render the fat cap a little bit, as much as we can. Oh yeah, while we're here right now, I'm also gonna add black pepper to the unseasoned side. Forgot to do that. Or sorry, to the seasoned side. For side number 2, I'm gonna try putting a little bit of oil directly on the steak itself. Nothing too crazy. A nice sear on that fella. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of salt on this side as well. Virtually unseasoned right now. Okay, after God knows how long of searing this, I think it's been like, I don't know, maybe like 12 minutes total. It's looking pretty nice and crusty on both sides. This one a little bit less so. So I'll leave it on this side. It's probably about time we put it in the oven. I set my thermometer down to about 133. And let's see. Okay, that's pretty tender. Probably still frozen in the middle, but that seems to be about the center. Okay, so there's a lot of stimulation happening right now. I got the vent fan on because it's getting a little bit smoky. But basically the steak has hit 135 right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. Wow. Woo! While we're waiting, I'm just gonna evacuate this steak to a plate to rest right now. So I was just reminded of a very important lesson. Always cover your handles after they come out of the oven. I accidentally just burned my hand. The show must go on. So I gotta finish off real quick just by doing like a little pan sauce in case you're worried about this, all this burnt on stuff on the stainless steel. Just gonna fill up a cup with about like this much water, pour it in here, turn the heat back on because I forgot that it was off. I'm just gonna use this whisk over here to scrape up some of this stuff. And crank this up to high. Once the water comes up to a boil, it should release. As you can see, it's already pretty coming off pretty easily. You can use any kind you want. I'm gonna go in with some apple cider vinegar. Not too much, just a little splash. Lift that all up. Try to clean off the bottom as much as we can. And then just grab about a tablespoon of softened butter. Chuck that in there. And just swirl this around with the heat off. And that butter is just gonna emulsify in with the nice and yummy water. Probably could have reduced that down a little bit more, but I'm kind of hungry and ended up having to take an unplanned break after I burned my fingers a little bit. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. So this is what the steak is looking like right now. It's been sitting for about 10 minutes. Definitely not the prettiest steak that's ever been made. Probably a side effect of it being frozen before we cooked it, but just gonna go ahead and cut into it and see how we did on the finish. I like to carve off the spinalis and leave the eye separately. So let's see. So it's definitely not bad. I'd say maybe a little bit more done than would have wanted on the bottom, but overall this is like pretty perfect. It's actually very good. It's seasoned pretty well. Maybe the crust area is like a little bit drier. I think you could probably do the crust a little bit less than I did. But overall, it's a pretty promising method. I think you can use it if you sear it for a little bit less time than I did. Definitely, for sure. Or maybe just like flip it over in the oven. As you can see, I think the side that was sitting on the pan got a little bit more done than the rest of it. But overall, it's not bad. So I don't know. You can try it if you want. It's it's okay. If you don't have any time and you want dinner in like an hour, just throw the frozen steak on the pan. Worst things could happen for sure.